David here with Figboot on Pens. Today I have for you a pen from the Birmingham Pen Company, and that pen is their Model A. What I'm going to do is go over the parts and features of the Model A, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to the Birmingham Pen Company for providing this pen for review and to give away to one of you. I'll provide details on how you can win this very pen a little bit later on in the review. The Birmingham Pen Company is based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and run by a gentleman by the name of Nick. They are an online retailer who offers a variety of brands of pens and ink. They've become rather well known for their house brand of inks. They offer a really nice variety of interesting colors, each of which is named for something in relation to the Pittsburgh area. A while back, I reviewed their Fred Rogers Cardigan Red ink that I cared for a great deal. Nick, with the help of his father, also offer a line of handmade pens that they turn themselves. And it's one of their pens that I will be showing you today. The pen arrives in this white box, and inside is a stitch box, and inside that is a very colorful pen. This is the Birmingham Pen Company Model A. It's a traditional cigar shape, and this version is appropriately called cotton candy. Now, when it comes to smaller pen makers, some will make their own acrylics, and some will work with like an acrylic supplier for unique and custom material, and then some will purchase their materials from larger suppliers, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it would explain why you might see a unique material like this on pens from several different companies. And this pen is offered in a number of different varieties. I like the ribbons and swirls of this particular material. When the light catches it, there's a good deal of chatoyance as well. So let's start off by taking a look at the cap. The end of the cap is smooth and rounded. The cap actually tapers up slightly until about this point, and then for the last inch or so, it's fairly straight. This is a clipless pen, and it doesn't have any type of roll stop either. There is a small rounded step down to the barrel, which is straight for just a little bit less than an inch, and then slowly tapers down to a rounded end, which is smaller than that of the cap. The cap twists off to reveal this number 6 Knox nib. Now, I can't remember the last pen that I've used with a Knox nib. Knox is a German company, and folks find that they're really good replacement nibs for such brands as Jinhao and Noodlers. I do like the stamping, the lion stamping on the nib. And then here's a look at the plastic feed. You can tell that I've had a shimmering ink in here since there's little flakes all over this feed. The section is slightly flared at the end and has a small concave portion before becoming straight for the remainder of the section. The threads on this pen are very narrow. They operate just fine, but they just take up about half of the space that you see on most other pens. There is a staired step up from the section to the threads and then to the barrel. The cap has an interesting design in it in regard to the threads. What I mean by that is that the cap threads are recessed back a bit in the cap so that when the pen is capped, it's overlapping the barrel a little bit. And while this mechanism works for capping, when it comes to posting, that's a little bit of a different story. The cap does post, but there's a bit of a gap in there, which makes the cap almost look mushroom-like on the end of the barrel. It's secure when you post the cap, but if you bump it a little bit, it can become dislodged very easily. The cap is very light, and so if you enjoy posting your pens with a bit of care, you could do that with this Model A. I do find the section to be comfortable, and that while it's a bit of a steep step up from the section to the barrel, the aforementioned threads kind of help with that transition. The Model A is a cartridge converter pen. A standard international converter is provided when you purchase this pen. And since there are no metal interior parts, in theory, the Model A can be used as an eyedropper. Like the cap threads, the threads on the interior portion of the section are rather narrow. So even if you put a healthy amount of silicone grease on there, I might be wary of ink leaking out here. The price on the Birmingham Pen Company Model A varies depending on the materials used. This cotton candy model is on the low end at $99, and there's some other $99 models as well. There's a few models at $149 and a clear demonstrator for $199. I find this pen to be well crafted, and you'll see in the writing sample, but the Knox nib performs very well, even using the shimmering ink, which can have a tendency to clog up the feeds of some pen. I feel this pen is a decent value at the $99 price point. For some of the higher priced models, how you feel about those specific materials will kind of determine the increase in price value that holds for you. For me, I didn't see enough of a difference to justify a 50% price increase, but then again, I don't know. The cost of those materials might very well be 50% higher to justify the increase. I do like the looks of this cotton candy model, though. It's unlike anything else in my collection. And I like when pens are a bit unique. But it won't be staying in my collection. It will be heading out to one of you. Thanks go out again to the Birmingham Pen Company for providing this pen for review and for giveaway. In regard to the giveaway, in order to enter, you just need to be a subscriber to this channel and leave a comment below in YouTube. If you're a Patreon supporter, I greatly appreciate your support, and you can alternately leave your qualifying comment there. In regard to a comment topic, this pen is definitely not subtle. So why don't you let me know if you care for pens with more flair or ones with more classic looks. Maybe share an example of a bold material that you'd enjoy on a pen. So now it's time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. So here we go with some size comparisons for the Birmingham Pen Company Model A. It doesn't have a roll stop, so I need to hold on to it. Here it is in comparison to a Lamy All-Star. And then here it is with a Pilot Metro. And then here it is with a TWSBI Diamond 580. In regard to some other models, here it is with a Kaweco Skyline Sport. Here it is with a Lamy 2000. And then something that's new that I just got is a brand new Faber-Castell, which is a partnership between Faber-Castell and the luxury car company Bentley. And this is the Graf von Faber-Castell Bentley. You can tell there is the Bentley B logo on top, and you will be seeing this pen in a couple of weeks, and there'll actually be a giveaway of that, so look forward to that. And that's what it looks like in comparison to that pen. So here we go with the writing sample for the Birmingham Pen Company Model A. And this is a medium steel nib. And the ink that I'm using here today is Colorverse Felicet. I believe there's an accent over the E. This is what the ink looks like. This is what the ink looks like in the glistening form. I don't know if you could really get a good idea of what that looks like. But here it is in regard to something like Noodler's Georgia Peach, which feathered something fierce on this paper. And then here it is with Diamine Poppy Red, which is more of a red, but maybe it's almost, the Felicet is almost in between these two colors here. This is what the Colorverse ink bottles look like. I think they're pretty cool. Little kind of teardrop on the side. That whenever you buy Colorverse inks, it comes with a large bottle and then a small bottle. Sometimes it's a different color. And in this case, it is the same color, but as you can see from this bottle, it is glistening. Okay, so here we go with the rest of the writing sample. I mentioned this in the review, but I do find that this Knox nib is very pleasant, and I can't recall the last Knox nib that I wrote with, but it is fairly smooth, and that the ink flow on here is decent as well. In regard to reverse writing, it lays down a nice extra fine line. And in regard to some fast writing, I don't find that it has an issue at all. So there we have the Birmingham Pen Company Model A. You might want to check out their site. I'll put a link in the notes below to their website. I know that they just came out with a brand new model. I can't recall exactly what it's called, but they just did come out with a brand new model on their site as well. So you might want to check that out as well. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.